Hi everyone and welcome to yet another video. No desktop today, instead I have something a bit smaller, a Dell Latitude E5570. In the video, we'll take a better look at this laptop and its hardware. Doing a complete teardown would go a bit too far, but that doesn't mean we can't have a look inside of course, and see how to upgrade this machine if you would like to do that. After all of that, I'll also perform some benchmarks to see how this device is performing. The Dell Latitude E5570 has been released on the market around mid-2016 and, as all laptops in the Latitude series, is targeted towards business users. We'll see that confirmed as well by some of the features the device has, which are less typical in customer laptops. In terms of size and weight, the laptop can't really be called compact. It weighs around 2.1 kilograms and is not the thinnest or smallest around. Part of that is due to the 15.6-inch screen. Obviously, if you compare it with something like a MacBook Air, you can clearly see the difference, but it isn't overly bulky either. In general, the laptop feels pretty decent and gives a professional impression. Build quality feels just good, and so do the screen hinges. Now in terms of connections. At the front, there are no ports or connectors, just a few status LEDs. The left side has a smart card reader, always handy, and the fan exhaust. On the back we can find a power connector, USB, HDMI, SIM card slot, VGA and Ethernet port. The right side has two more USB ports, SD card reader and a headphone jack. When we open up the laptop, we see the backlit keyboard. You can change the intensity of this or turn it off if desired as well. The keys feel quite good to type on. Not the best of the best, but far from the worst as well. Due to the size of the laptop, there is also room for a full numpad. Most people will see that as a plus. To control the mouse pointer, there are two options. The thing in the middle of the keyboard, I believe Dell calls it a point stick, but I prefer to use the more female-oriented name, which people typically call it on an IBM laptop. There is also the touchpad and it works well. It's responsive and multi-touch gestures like two-finger scrolling are painless. Dragging items around is not a problem either. The display then. Quality of the screen is proper as well to my ID. The version I have has a full HD resolution, which is a good match with the screen size. Color, viewing angles and brightness are pretty decent as well. I never got disturbed by a lag in these areas while working with the laptop. While we are here, let's also test the built-in webcam. It's a 2 megapixel camera and it just does what you would expect. Again, decent results here without really jumping out. Before opening up the laptop to have a look inside, let's first check out what the BIOS has to say. Pressing F2 brings us in the setup utility, where we can see the specs of this device I have here. 8GB of DDR4 memory with an empty slot available, and the Intel Core i5 6440HQ as CPU. Here we can also find more information about the battery and health. Interesting thing to check if you would consider buying this device second-hand. Health in my case is reported as good, not the best level, but still acceptable. Other than what I've showed in detail, there are plenty more things to configure in the BIOS setup, something I can always appreciate. Time to open up the laptop now and see what's inside and how serviceable it is. Opening it is rather easy. Simply remove the 8 screws that hold the bottom cover. And once these are removed, you can gently pry open the bottom of the laptop. The biggest space here is taken by the battery. In my case it's a 62 Wh 4-cell battery, but it was also possible to order the laptop with an 84 Wh 6-cell battery. If needed, you can disconnect it here if you want to do some work on the laptop. Speaking of which, Dell provides an excellent guide with very detailed steps for anything you would want to do here. They even cover swapping out the display in detail. If only documentation would always be that complete. But back to the laptop. Here we also have a bay that can fit a 2.5-inch SATA drive, but you would need a proprietary cable to connect it. In this case, we have a 256 NVMe SSD instead, That will definitely be faster than the SATA alternative, and you can easily upgrade it if desired. We can also see the CPU fan, which stayed fairly clean despite the age of the laptop. In the center, we have the two DDR4 SODIMM slots, very easy to access to upgrade the memory as well. And further, we have the Wi-Fi card and cellular modem. That's more or less all there is to see on the inside. Let's close up the laptop and see how well it performs now. One thing I didn't mention yet is this docking station connector at the bottom, something you won't see on a non-business laptop. After booting up the machine, let's start by looking at About Your PC. This just confirms what we saw in the BIOS, 8GB of RAM and i5 CPU. I've been running Windows 11 on this machine for some time now and it works really well. Everything feels very snappy and responsive and there are no compatibility or driver issues as far as I've noticed. Let's see if we can get some proof of that in hard numbers, starting with Geekbench. $2,654 is what we get. Now, let me repeat the same test, but this time on battery. The main reason for this is because some laptops seem to throttle down the CPU when running on battery power. $2,610 this time, close enough. That is pretty similar to our first test result, so I don't think this is the case here. The results are a bit in line with the rest of the laptop. Not the top performer, yet nothing bad either. Just doing a good job. Even for today's standards, this laptop is doing well. Next piece of hardware to test is the NVMe SSD. Not bad at all. To test this better, let me increase the test file size. Similar, and as you can see, SSD performance won't be your bottleneck here. For the first time, I'll also run Cinebench R23, which I will try to do on each machine I cover here on my channel from now. We managed to finish 2 passes within the 10 minutes and the result is 2851. If we compare that with other test results, it kind of ends where we expected. Never get yourself fooled by Intel Core generation or a higher number. The only way to see if a CPU is better or faster is to look at benchmark results. One last test that I will do, since this is a laptop with built-in Wi-Fi, is to see how well that performs. I'll simply copy a large file over the network using Wi-Fi. And as you can see, there is really nothing to complain about here. I would even say that this is about the practical maximum you will see for an 802.11 AC Wi-Fi adapter. That brings us to the end of the video. My conclusion is similar to what I've mentioned a few times before. This laptop is pretty good, but doesn't jump out anywhere. Just a decent performer and definitely not a pain to still use it today. For the price you can get these on the second-hand market, I would prefer it anytime over a new laptop on the same budget, as long as you keep an eye on the battery health. Thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you liked the video, and if you did, feel free to give me a like. If you like this kind of content, definitely subscribe to my channel for more of the same. Thanks again and hope to see you back here soon.